Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I'm bringing you a little bit more of my post-workout thoughts here as I have them. And this is another one of those videos. So anyway, I'm still here in Northern California working out here, and I want to be totally honest with you. So because I want you to be totally honest with yourself. So here's what I want to tell you today is this last week, probably over Christmas, I sort of screwed up diet-wise. Now, I've been running and lifting weights. I didn't screw up there, but my diet has not been great. In fact, it's been pretty trashy, to be honest with you. I was still doing my fasting until 5, except for 2 days I let myself off for Christmas Eve and Christmas. But anyway, I'm looking at it now, and I'm being honest with myself, and there's been some temptation to say to myself, like, hey John, well, it's okay, you're revving up your metabolism again, and or now you could gain a little bit of muscle since you're eating some extra calories. And some of that might be true, but the real truth of the situation is, John, you screwed up. You done screwed up, boy. That's the real truth, right? And so the thing is, like, are you lying to yourself, right? One of the things that we commonly do is we lie to ourselves. We take whatever we do wrong or when we screw up, and we try to come up with a good excuse for it, and we try to come up with blame or some kind of judgment to say that, well, we were justified to do this, or some reasoning or excuses, right? Excuses is what it is. And when we do that, what we do is we skew reality, and we rob ourselves of the opportunity to learn from our mistakes and to also correct our mistakes. So I could come in here and I could tell you today, oh yeah, I had this other plan and whatever, but the reality situation is, I know I probably put on a good 5 pounds over the last week or so because I've been eating a bunch of junk, right? I've been at a relative's house, and I've been eating junk, and there's no excuse for it. I made that choice, right? And it's a bad choice because it's not in line with my goal. So the thing is, now that I recognize that, I can start making good choices. I can still make bad choices if I want to, but I can't start making good choices until I come to the truth of that situation. And that's how it is one of the best abilities that you could possibly have in life that's going to benefit you more than anything else that I've found is the ability to recognize the truth and tell yourself the truth. So many people are so good at lying to themselves. And the better you get at lying to yourself, the harder it is going to be for you to be able to actually make changes that are going to benefit you, right? Because when you're lying to yourself, you have to be consistent with that lie. And so if you try to correct something, and if there's nothing wrong in the first place, you have nothing to correct. So I would say that, one thing to check out, to make sure that you're doing, is that you're not lying to yourself, and to see reality as clear as possible. It's all right to screw up, right? I'm telling you this because I think a lot of people sometimes say, well, John, you don't screw up very often. You just, you hit your diet perfectly, you do everything, and you don't screw. I screw up all the time. But the difference between me and some people is that when I screw up, I recognize that I screw up. I don't beat myself up. I mean, sure, I beat myself up a little bit, but I don't beat myself up forever and shame myself. Instead, I take action and I make changes, and I say, this is not what I want. I made a mistake. How can I learn from this? What can I do better? How can I prevent this from happening again? And what am I going to do now? And that's perhaps the most important question that you can ask yourself in life. And it requires you to look at things realistically first. But once you look at things realistically, it's all done. What's done in the past is the past. But now you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do about it? What am I going to do now? Ask yourself this question. And then that is what you do. And you follow through. You don't worry about what you messed up before, because whatever the situation is, right? That's where you're at now. When I used to play poker a lot, right, I would look at the chips if I'm in a tournament or I'm playing a cash game or whatever, and I would say, screwed up, John, okay, but this is where you're at now. It doesn't change. This is where you're at now. So what are you going to do from now on? How are you going to play? What are you going to do from this point forward, right? And that's always a situation. I've made lots of scripts where I've looked down and said, man, that sucked. Oh, if you've ever been in that situation where you feel like the wind got knocked out of you, like, oh, why did I do that, right? And then you have to take a deep breath, look at the situation and say, look, all right, okay, where am I at now? And what am I going to do now? And that's it. So anyway, hopefully you found this advice useful. If you did, subscribe to the channel, please. We're getting thank you for everyone that has subscribed. We're getting up, I think, around 13,000 subscribers now, probably more so by the time you watch this video. The goal here is really to hit 50,000 within the next year. By the end of 2016, I'd actually like to hit 100,000. That's, in fact, not only would I like to, that is going to happen. Okay, I'm saying it now. It's going to hit 100,000. We're going to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2016. That's right. So, anyway, that's reality. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Take care.